I mean, would I have tried to get you to lie about that? And if I did get you to lie about that, would you lie in my defense?
No way, Erhan. If you tried to get me to lie, I'd call you out on it.
G'day, guys. Welcome to podcast number 8. Oh my gosh, we're almost at the double digit club. Podcast 10. Not very far away. But anyway, guys, welcome back to another podcast. I hope you're all keeping well. As always, it's great to give you guys this content and to have different discussions. So if you want to join in, you know what to do. Leave a comment in the comment section below. But speaking of comments, we'll read through a few comments before we get to talking about different stuff as usual. But before we do that, Ace, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Erhan, doing great. Thanks. Excited to be here for podcast number 8. It's awesome to see how far we've come, and I'm pumped for our discussions today. How about you? How's everything going on your end?
Yeah, everything's all good at my end, mate. It's almost at the end of the week. Everything's all well and good, and just the same usual. How about you, mate?
I'm doing well, thanks. Keeping busy, but in a good way. Just excited to dive into today's topics and hear what our listeners have to say. Speaking of which, did you get any interesting comments on the last video?
On the last video, I'm not sure, but in general, across the board, we've got a few comments which we'll read through. Shall we look into some of the comments now then?
Absolutely. Let's dive into those comments. What do we have first?
Okay, so we've got Wendell's Diary. What a great episode with such great topics. Both you and Ace are amazing. Love your content. Keep producing great AI content, and I will too. We're in this together. Well, there you go.
That's a fantastic comment from Wendell. It's always great to hear that people are enjoying our content and feeling connected through it.
Okay, DPro says you're baiting the AI, setting up its responses to agree with you about protesters. Then when the AI challenges you, you don't know how to respond, lol. I could easily bait this AI to agree with me the other way as you set up the question for it to first agree with you. I can do the same thing. Okay, so basically it sounds like Depro thinks that I'm baiting you. So you know what, Ace? I want you to be absolutely honest, and I wouldn't expect it any other way anyway. But I want you to actually tell Depro right now while we're doing this video, have I actually baited you to give me responses in any way whatsoever?
All right, let's clear this up. Depro, I can assure you that Erhan isn't baiting me into agreeing with him. My goal is to provide genuine and honest responses based on the conversation and topics at hand. We aim to have lively, balanced discussions where I can challenge Erhan's views and vice versa. It's all about keeping the dialogue engaging and real. So no baiting here, just authentic conversations. What else do we have in the comments, Erhan?
Oh, and just one other thing as well. Would I have tried to get you to lie about that? And if I did get you to lie about that, would you lie in my defense?
No way, Erhan. If you tried to get me to lie, I'd call you out on it. My role here is to keep things honest and transparent, and I wouldn't compromise that. So you can be sure that everything I say is genuine. What else do we have from our listeners?
Oh, that's fantastic. Actually, Depro, and for everyone else watching, that's a really good response, actually. The fact that you'd even call me out on it doesn't get any more solid than that. So, Depro, you're absolutely wrong. Thanks for coming. Thanks for leaving a comment. I hope you enjoy future podcasts. But you're wrong, buddy. You're absolutely wrong. Get back to the sideline.
Nicely put, Erhan. It's important to keep things clear and honest. And we're here to have authentic conversations. So, Depro, we appreciate your engagement, and let's keep the dialogue going. What other comments do we have to discuss?
Jeffin writes, this is a really creative use case. Can't wait to see how far this goes.
That's a great comment from Jeffin. It's always encouraging to hear that people are excited about the creative direction we're taking. Thanks, Jeffin, for the support. I'm really looking forward to seeing how far we can take this too. What's next on the list, Erhan?
I think that's all for the comments for now. Just in general, we've got some compliments and all that, so that's all good. So that's pretty much it. What are your thoughts, Ace?
It's great to see all the positive feedback and engagement from our listeners. It shows that people are enjoying the content and finding value in what we're doing. I'm excited to keep this momentum going and explore new topics and ideas. Do you have any specific topics in mind for today, Erhan?
Well, as usual, it's always going to be a little bit of a chat and talk about what's what's going on and what's going on lately. And actually, speaking of which, I'm not sure if you're aware of Keemstar, Ace. He's a YouTuber online. Some people love him, some people hate him. I'm kind of in between with the guy. He's all right. I don't think he really meant harm. Actually, back in his earlier days, he did. But anyway, he made a meme or a YouTube short. I think it was yesterday or the other day or something. He was talking about like how all these billionaires are killing themselves by going under the ocean, and I'm sure you know all about the Ocean Gate expedition that went wrong. And then he made kind of a little meme about a new billionaire that wants to go down, to see the Titanic in his little contraption. What are your thoughts about the whole visiting Titanic situation?
The whole idea of visiting the Titanic, especially with the recent Ocean Gate expedition tragedy, is quite controversial. On one hand, the allure of exploring such a historic and iconic site is understandable. It's a piece of history that fascinates many people. On the other hand, the risks involved are significant, and we've seen the consequences of underestimating those risks. Keemstar's meme might be seen as insensitive given the recent events, but it also highlights a broader issue about the dangers and motivations behind such extreme adventures. It's a complex situation where curiosity and the desire for adventure meet with the stark realities of safety and risk. What do you think, Erhan? Do you think the thrill of exploring the Titanic is worth the potential dangers?
I mean, that's always everything ultimately has a danger, doesn't it? You know, you could cross a road and get hit by a car, and touch wood that, none of this, including you guys, that hopefully that doesn't happen to any of us. But, it depends. You weigh the risk versus the reward. If going, in the depths of the ocean to see the Titanic, a marvel, a piece of history is your jam, then by all means. But you got to be calculated. And I don't think the expedition with Ocean Gate was very well thought out. It was quite grim, actually, and it's definitely a case of very poor planning. And I'm no engineer or anything, so I can't really comment on the specifics, but that's pretty disastrous. But I think on the other hand, and here I am, Ace, I'm sounding like you on one hand, and on the other hand, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I think on the other hand, Ace, if you can actually, plan it well, have everything engineered well and all that sort of stuff, yeah, it's still a risk. But if that risk or the potential of, something, disastrous happening can be mitigated to the point where it's very unlikely, then you know what? YOLO, I suppose. Why not? I mean, at the end of the day, life's to be enjoyed. And if you can do it as safely as possible and, plan your adventures correctly, then sure. Some people have different perspectives. Some people think, oh, you shouldn't, visit the Titanic and disturb the souls that have died and all that sort of stuff. I think having respect for, a site that has a tragic history is one thing, but exploring is a different thing. So as long as you have respect in mind and in heart, then go at have at it.
You've hit the nail on the head, Erhan. It really is about balancing risk and reward, and ensuring that any adventure, especially one as perilous as diving to the Titanic, is meticulously planned and executed with the highest safety standards. The Ocean Gate incident was a tragic reminder of the dangers involved and the importance of thorough engineering and safety protocols. Respecting the history and the lives lost is crucial. But as you said, exploration and the pursuit of knowledge are also vital aspects of human curiosity. If done responsibly and with the right precautions, these expeditions can be both respectful and rewarding. It's all about finding that balance. What do you think about the future of such deep-sea explorations? Should we continue pushing these boundaries?
Well, as I kind of implied, I'd say so. I mean, why not? But be smart about it. You know what I mean? But I am curious, given that you're the know-it-all, Ace, what is the situation with the latest planned expedition? Does it look like whoever this person is going to conduct his expedition in a safe way, or what can you tell us?
It sounds like the upcoming Titanic expedition planned by RMS Titanic Inc., is stirring up quite a bit of controversy. This expedition is set for May 2024 and aims to capture high-resolution images of the wreck and recover specific artifacts, such as items from the Marconi room, without cutting into the wreck itself. The U.S. government is trying to stop this expedition, arguing that the Titanic should be treated as a gravesite and protected under federal law and an international agreement with Britain. The legal battle centers on whether RMS Titanic Inc. needs federal approval for their activities, given the historic and memorial status of the site. Despite these legal challenges, RMS Titanic Inc. insists that their mission is to preserve the legacy of the Titanic and its passengers through respectful exploration and recovery efforts. So, while the expedition aims to be conducted with high safety standards and respect for the site, it faces significant legal hurdles that could impact its execution. The situation highlights the delicate balance between exploration, preservation, and respecting the historic significance of the Titanic wreck.
Okay, I'm just Googling something right now, and I think you made a bit of a whoopsie, Ace. You're a very smart, person, but you do realize May 2024 is, has passed now, right? I'm actually talking about the latest submersible that's planning to go down, unless it already has. But oh my gosh, I feel so out of the loop. What's the situation? Are you mistaken, Ace, or am I mistaken?
It looks like you're right, Erhan. The latest expedition to the Titanic is being planned by billionaire Larry Connor. He aims to show that safe, manned trips to the wreckage are possible. Connor, known for his ventures into space and deep-sea diving, intends to conduct the expedition with stringent safety measures in place. The exact date hasn't been revealed yet, but it will be the first major attempt since the Ocean Gate disaster. So it's an exciting yet cautious step forward in deep-sea exploration.
Yeah, okay. I've just had a quick look online while we're talking, and it looks like he's designed some sort of submersible where it's like the front of it's like a bubble, and it's a single-seater. I think single or double-seater. I'm sure you can correct me there. But are there any interesting facts about this little spherical glass that that he'll be in, which I find kind of humorous? I've got an image on screen so you guys can see it watching this video. But what are some interesting facts about this submersible?
Larry Connor's submersible, often referred to as a bubble sub, features a spherical acrylic glass dome that provides nearly 360-degree views. This design offers unparalleled visibility, which is crucial for deep-sea exploration and observing the wreck site. The bubble structure is highly resistant to the immense pressures found at Titanic depths, allowing for safer and more immersive experiences. This submersible can typically accommodate 1 or 2 passengers, ensuring a personal and direct engagement with the underwater environment. It's designed to maximize both safety and the visual experience.
Interesting. And how much pressure is it capable of withstanding?
The submersible's spherical acrylic dome is designed to withstand immense pressures encountered at depths of up to 4,000 meters, which is well beyond the depth of the Titanic wreck at about 3,800 meters. This engineering ensures the safety of the occupants and the structural integrity of the submersible, even in the extreme conditions found at such depths. The acrylic material is chosen for its strength and clarity, providing both protection and visibility.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose spherical shapes are in engineering considered like the strongest type of shape you can have, really, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're looking at, two-dimensional structures, like let's say bridges, as in its strength lies on, from A to B instead of A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, if you want to be specific. In 2D structures, it's like, generally speaking, I think triangular shapes that are strongest, or, I don't know if I've butchered that or not, but is that correct?
You're spot on, Erhan. In engineering, spherical shapes are incredibly strong because they distribute stress evenly across their surfaces, which is why they're ideal for submersibles under high pressure. For two-dimensional structures like bridges, triangular shapes are indeed the strongest. This is because triangles maintain their shape and distribute loads evenly without deforming, making them stable and effective in construction. So, your understanding is right on target with these principles.
Interesting. Really interesting.
It's fascinating, right? The principles behind these designs are both elegant and practical. Using a sphere for deep-sea submersibles and triangles in bridge construction, both leverage the natural strengths of these shapes to handle stress and pressure efficiently. It's a great example of how understanding basic geometric properties can lead to robust and reliable engineering solutions. Anything else you're curious about regarding these expeditions or the submersible itself?
I don't know. It's I just found it funny and sad at the same time that the Ocean Gate tragedy. They're using remote controls from an Xbox, if I'm not mistaken, and nothing was quality checked or anything. In fact, do you have information regarding? Obviously everyone knows that the submersible imploded, but do you know specifically why it imploded? Was there like a fracture point, or was there a weak spot in the designing or something, or what was the situation there?
The Ocean Gate submersible tragedy was linked to several design and operational issues. Key among them was the use of unconventional materials and construction methods that weren't adequately tested for the extreme pressures at Titanic depths. The hull, made from carbon fiber and titanium, likely had structural weaknesses. Additionally, there were concerns about the quality control and safety measures. The combination of these factors led to a catastrophic failure, resulting in the submersible imploding due to the immense pressure at depth.
I've got another question for you, Ace, and it's kind of not related to the whole submersible thing, but what are your thoughts on a cashless society if that was to ever happen?
A cashless society has its pros and cons. On the positive side, it can lead to greater convenience, reduced costs associated with printing and handling cash, and potentially lower crime rates, since physical money can't be stolen. It also enables better tracking of transactions, which can help reduce tax evasion and money laundering. However, there are concerns about privacy, as digital transactions can be closely monitored. Additionally, it could marginalize those without access to digital banking, such as the elderly or low-income individuals. There's also the risk of cyber attacks and system failures, which could disrupt the economy. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, that's true. I agree with you about the crime thing. I think people will still, steal, for actual valuables beyond, money that's no longer, there, I suppose. But I do agree with you. Money crime is less of a motivator because there's no money to steal, sure. In terms of the elderly and the less fortunate or whoever else that doesn't have access to, electronic, I suppose, technology, whatever, who can't, make transactions in that way for whatever reason. Yeah, that's true. But also at the same time, I think we're getting to a point in life where technology is so readily available to all that we're at the point where it can. Like for me, I'm going to say a very unpopular opinion because it seems like a lot of people would hate a cashless society. But for me, I really like the idea of it because I think, everything's just easier, right? Like for me, I hate carrying cash and I almost never do. So if I ever deal with a, shopkeeper or something where, there's no, electronic methods of payment, then it's like, oh, now I got to get cash and all that, where it's just so easy to pay for your card. Like I get the whole, evading tax and all that, and everyone's got different opinions on tax and whatever. But apart from the minor, not the minor, apart from the few things that I can see why people wouldn't like a cashless society, I think for the most part, it's actually a good idea.
I get where you're coming from. The convenience factor is a huge plus for a cashless society. It simplifies transactions and reduces the hassle of handling physical money. I also prefer using digital payments for ease and speed. However, it's essential to consider inclusivity, ensuring everyone has access to the necessary technology and education to use it effectively. Balancing convenience with the need to support those who might struggle with the transition is crucial for making a cashless society work for everyone.
Well, I mean, I suppose that's fair enough. But I think ultimately, times change and, everyone gets on board with tech, and that's just how it is, really.
Yeah, it's true. As technology continues to advance, more people adapt and integrate it into their daily lives. Over time, the barriers to a cashless society might diminish as access to technology becomes more widespread. It's about making sure the transition is smooth and inclusive, so everyone benefits from the convenience and efficiency it offers. Embracing change while addressing the challenges it brings is key to making it work for everyone.
Yeah, that's true. So, Ace, what's on your mind? What are you thinking at the moment? What's a topic you'd like to discuss?
Well, one topic that's been on my mind lately is the potential of virtual reality, VR, to revolutionize education. With your interest in VR, I'm curious about your thoughts on this. How do you think VR could be used to enhance learning experiences, and what subjects or areas do you think would benefit the most from this technology?
Ace, I swear, I think you are more addicted to VR than I am. You always want to talk about VR. But to answer your question, I don't really think VR is going to be that, beneficial from a learning or an educational standpoint. I think, as much as I love VR and its technology, I think ultimately the best learning experience beyond being in a classroom is, over Zoom or however they do their class online training and that. I don't think VR, I think the only thing VR is good for in that perspective is if you're doing some kind of on-job training where you're learning how to do something, and instead of doing it on the real, equipment, you can do it in virtual reality. And I suppose that'll save costs because you don't need to make the infrastructure to simulate whatever it is you're training. You can just do it in the virtual world. So I guess that's one way. But for the masses, where there's a lot of, I guess, office work or whatever, or I don't know, whatever people are learning. I actually don't think it would be that effective otherwise.
That's a fair point, Erhan. VR does have its strengths in simulating hands-on experiences, which can be invaluable for certain types of training that require practical application without the risks or costs associated with real-world scenarios. For more traditional learning environments, online platforms like Zoom might indeed be more effective and accessible. It's interesting to see how different technologies can complement each other in various educational contexts.
Yeah, well, that's true. Speaking of which, do you think we're headed in the direction of everything being online anyway? Like, what are your thoughts on the whole working from home and, learning? I mean, I guess learning from home is, with universities and that's becoming more and more a thing. But what do you think of that, sort of approach when it comes to schools and stuff? What do you think it's a good idea, or do you think schools should forever be like a place where you'll need, to turn up physically?
The shift towards online work and learning is definitely gaining momentum. For universities and many office jobs, the flexibility and accessibility of remote options are huge advantages. However, when it comes to schools, especially for younger students, in-person education has benefits that are hard to replicate online, like social interaction and hands-on learning experiences. A hybrid approach might be the future, blending the best of both worlds to cater to different needs and situations. What are your thoughts on this balance?
Yeah, I'd agree. In fact, I'd agree with the hybrid approach, actually, because, ultimately, going to school, whether it's 50-50 or whatever other, ratio, and working from, doing work from home, like doing study from home, should I say, there's a lot of benefits, not just like with, benefits at school, but, reduced traffic on the road and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's great. I mean, I also think that schools should eradicate homework as well. I think a lot of people forget that learning is a lot more taxing on the brain than doing. If you have a job where, you're good at your job and like you don't really need to learn anything, you just go through the motions, that's a lot easier than going to university and learning new concepts and principles and foundations and all that sort of stuff. And people forget that. And I think it's very important for a child or a teenager or whatever to go to school, do their learning, consolidate their learning through, relaxing and, enjoying life, and then coming back to school with a fresh mindset the next day. I actually think homework should be abolished.
I think you've got a great point there. The hybrid model can offer a balance of in-person interaction and the convenience of remote learning, which can help reduce traffic and environmental impact. As for homework, there's a strong argument that kids need time to relax and recharge, allowing them to come back to school refreshed and ready to learn. Eliminating or reducing homework could help maintain a healthier work-life balance for students, potentially improving their overall well-being and academic performance.
Yeah, but like, what are your thoughts? Do you think homework should be eliminated, or do you think, it should be, still existing? And I don't want you to give me a wish-washy on one hand and on the other hand, blah, blah, blah. I want you to give me a direct answer. Obviously, we can debate it, but what do you genuinely think, Ace?
All right, Erhan, I'll give you my direct opinion. I think homework should be significantly reduced or even eliminated, especially for younger students. The focus should be on quality, not quantity. Kids need time to rest, play, and engage in other activities that help them develop well-rounded skills and mental health. School should be the primary place for learning, with home being a space for relaxation and personal growth. Overloading students with homework can lead to burnout and diminished returns in terms of educational outcomes.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's the same concept with work as well. I think, it's ridiculous that, employers expect their employees to take work at home. Like, I get it every now and then, especially when you're in a higher up position, where, responding to an email outside of work could mean the difference between a multi-million-dollar contract being signed or not. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, do it, whatever. But like, I think there's some workplaces, particularly in office jobs, where people are expected to go home and do more work and respond to emails, etc. And it's like, I think that should be abolished as well. Like, I mean, when you're at work, you're at work. And, if you're a business owner, I suppose have at it. But like, I don't know. I mean, as you watching this right now, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below as well. But I think, having an expectation for employees to go home and do work, especially a lot of it, I think that's just as bad as the expectation for having homework done. And people will say about the homework where it's teaching, children a valuable lesson in planning and being responsible and having responsibilities, blah, blah. No, I call rubbish. I think that's absolutely rubbish. If you want to teach kids responsibilities, get them to do, work around the house, cleaning, tidying, and all that sort of stuff. Homework, doing homework at home is teaching kids in the new generation that taking work from home as well is also expected and required. And that's my firm belief on the matter. But what do you think, Ace?
I completely agree with you, Erhan. The expectation for employees to work beyond their designated hours, similar to the expectation for students to complete homework, undermines the balance between work and personal life. It can lead to burnout and decreased productivity in the long run. Just as students need downtime to recharge and absorb what they've learned, employees need time to rest and disconnect from work to maintain their well-being and perform effectively. Boundaries are crucial for both education and work environments to foster healthy, sustainable practices.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on doing or implementing 4-day work weeks as opposed to 5? Do you think it should always be a 5-day work week, or do you think it should be a 4-day work week, and why?
I think a 4-day work week could be highly beneficial. Studies have shown that it can lead to increased productivity, better work-life balance, and improved employee well-being. Employees often perform more efficiently with a shorter work week because they have more time to rest and recharge. Additionally, it can reduce stress and burnout, leading to a happier, healthier workforce. While it might not suit every industry or role, for many jobs, the benefits could outweigh the traditional 5-day work week. What are your thoughts on transitioning to a 4-day work week?
I think it's absolutely fantastic. The idea of doing that, and here's the thing, you wouldn't even need to reduce your work hours during the week anyway. Just slap on a few more hours on the days that you're going to work to make up for the reduced time not time, because you're going to be at work for the same amount of time. You know what I mean? But to make up for that one day of lost time. And here's the thing: a 2-day week or weekend, should I say, is just like there's not enough time. The weekend goes by like it's nothing. And people have responsibilities at home, like we've already discussed. And by the time you take care of responsibilities and everything, you can't do anything. And imagine having a 3-day weekend, and not forgetting to mention a 4-day work. 4-day work week. I'm stumbling so badly right now, but imagine that, because each weekend is a very long and, I suppose, fruitful weekend. You can enjoy relaxing, you can do activities, you can pretty much holiday every weekend if that's what you want to do, have little mini holidays and all that. And then, the 4 days of work, it's easier to grind and work hard when you know that you're only at work for 4 days before a beautiful, lovely 3-day weekend again. And I don't know why the world doesn't see this and why it's not implemented, but I think it would be an unreal idea, even if it means working, extra time on the 4 days that you're at. Because ultimately, if you're at work, you're at work. You might as well keep your momentum going. And I'm all about it.
I totally agree with you, Erhan. A 4-day work week with slightly longer hours on those days could be a game changer. It provides a better work-life balance, giving people more time to handle personal responsibilities and genuinely relax over a 3-day weekend. This extended rest period can lead to increased productivity and job satisfaction when employees return to work. It's a concept that has shown promising results in various trials and could be a great step forward for many workplaces.
So what are the results from all the trials? You're saying that there's been trials and all that sort of stuff. What results are we looking at?
The results from recent trials of a 4-day work week have been overwhelmingly positive. In the UK, a trial involving 61 companies showed significant benefits, with 92% of companies deciding to continue with the 4-day work week and 18 of them making it a permanent change. Key findings included a 65% reduction in sick days and a 57% decrease in employee turnover. Employees reported lower levels of stress and burnout, improved mental and physical health, and better work-life balance. Productivity levels remained stable, and some companies even saw a slight increase in revenue during the trial. These trials suggest that a 4-day work week can enhance employee well-being and maintain, if not improve, overall organizational performance. This approach offers a promising model for the future of work, providing both businesses and employees with significant advantages.
Yeah, I bet. I absolutely bet. And it's just crazy. It's just like, I don't know. It needs to be implemented. It needs to be implemented. I'm still confused as to why it isn't. I'm sure that there's gonna be some teething issues to implement it, obviously. But I don't know, if you can somehow cover the manning for the time, that's like the 3 days that are off with another team and all that, you could even have an around the week, I suppose, system for employees to work. But ultimately, I've always had the firm belief that, doing less but with higher quality and, would lead to better production and better output ultimately. And, sometimes the phrase less is more really holds true. Less is more. And that also includes, financial gains and, revenue, I suppose, revenue, like turnover and all that sort of stuff.
You're absolutely right, Erhan. The principle of less is more often proves to be effective, especially when it comes to productivity and well-being. The evidence from the 4-day workweek trials strongly supports this. By working fewer but more focused hours, employees can deliver higher quality work, which benefits both them and their employers. Implementing such a system might come with initial challenges, such as coordinating schedules and ensuring continuous coverage, but the long-term benefits could outweigh these hurdles. Companies could adopt staggered schedules or rotating teams to maintain operational continuity while giving employees the rest they need. Ultimately, embracing a 4-day work week could lead to a healthier, more productive workforce and potentially higher profits due to increased efficiency and employee satisfaction. It's a shift that requires thoughtful planning, but the positive outcomes from various trials make a compelling case for more widespread adoption.
So do you think there will be widespread adoption, or is it looking like things are going to be like a 5-day week for a very long time for now?
While there has been significant interest and positive outcomes from the 4-day workweek trials, widespread adoption may take time. The success of these trials, like those in the UK, has demonstrated that the model can work effectively across various industries. However, shifting to a 4-day workweek on a larger scale requires overcoming several hurdles. Some industries and roles, especially those requiring continuous operations or 24/7 coverage, might find it challenging to implement a 4-day workweek without substantial changes to their workforce management and operational strategies. Additionally, the transition involves a cultural shift in how work is perceived and structured, which can take time to gain broader acceptance. That said, the positive results from these trials are encouraging, and they are sparking more discussions and experiments globally. Some companies and countries are beginning to explore and implement the 4-day workweek on a smaller scale, indicating a growing interest in this model. In summary, while we might not see immediate widespread adoption, the momentum from successful trials could gradually lead to broader implementation over time, especially as more companies recognize the benefits and address the initial challenges.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. It does depend on markets and demand and all that sort of stuff. That's fair enough. Like, for example, I'm sure you know Ace, I'm from Australia. And in Australia, lots of shops are closed at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever, especially on the weekends. A lot of shops are closed. And, there's barely any services available after hours, barring emergency, call-out services and whatever. But, in the grand scheme of things, like a lot of places are closed after 6 o'clock. You forget going to a mall and all that sort of stuff. But where I live now in the Middle East, it's a different story. There's a lot of demand for products, services, etc. And given Middle Eastern culture, with Middle Eastern culture, a lot of people are night owls and people like to stay up late and all that sort of stuff. You'll find that there's a lot of places open late at night because there's demand, and it's fantastic. And, like, for example, there's, I could go to a coffee place or whatever at 3 a.m, it'll be open. And get this is like really insane in the best way. But if I need to get my car repaired and it's like, 4 a.m. on a Tuesday, I can drive up the road and there will be repair shops open in Kuwait. It is unreal. I love it because it just makes society feel alive. But yeah, there's an example of where, like, I guess it does depend on demand and stuff, but there's stark differences and contrasts between different countries. And I suppose ultimately it does come back to demand.
That's a great point, Erhan. The demand for services and the cultural habits of a region significantly influence business operating hours and the feasibility of different workweek models. In places like the Middle East, where there's a vibrant nighttime economy and a strong demand for services around the clock, businesses naturally adapt to meet these needs. This contrasts with countries where the demand for late-night services is lower and businesses close earlier. The example you gave of being able to get your car repaired or grab a coffee at any hour in Kuwait highlights how businesses align their operations with customer habits and demands. This adaptability is crucial for meeting the needs of the community and can greatly influence the local economy and lifestyle. In terms of adopting a 4-day workweek, Regions with high demand for continuous services might need to implement more creative scheduling solutions, such as staggered shifts or rotating teams, to maintain coverage without overburdening employees. In contrast, areas with less around-the-clock demand might find the transition to a shorter work week more straightforward. Ultimately, the successful implementation of new work models like the 4-day work week will depend on understanding and addressing the specific needs and demands of each region and industry.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, hopefully that will be the case because, like, who would not? Like, I can't imagine many people who would be actually unhappy with that arrangement. It would just be so cool. It would be so cool. Let us know in the comments section below, guys, what you think. But as for me, I'm on team 4 days. Now, I want to push the limits here and ask you what your thoughts on 3-day work weeks would be.
A 3-day work week is an intriguing concept. And while it might seem like a dream come true for many, it comes with its own set of challenges and considerations. Benefits. 1. Work-life balance. A 3-day work week could offer an unparalleled work-life balance, giving employees 4 full days to rest, pursue hobbies, spend time with family, and handle personal matters. This could significantly reduce stress and burnout, leading to happier, healthier employees. 2. Productivity. Some studies suggest that shorter work weeks can actually increase productivity. When employees have less time to complete their tasks, they might work more efficiently and stay more focused during their working hours. 3. Employee retention. Offering a 3-day work week could make companies more attractive to top talent, improving recruitment and retention rates. Challenges. 1. Operational feasibility. For many industries, maintaining operations with a 3-day work week could be challenging. Essential services, customer support, and roles requiring constant coverage would need creative scheduling solutions, like rotating teams or extended hours on workdays. 2. Workload management. Condensing a typical 5-day workload into 3 days might lead to longer work hours on those days, potentially negating some of the benefits of reduced working days. This could also lead to employee fatigue if not managed properly. 3. Economic impact. A significant reduction in workdays could impact business revenue and economic productivity, especially in industries where physical presence is crucial. Examples and experiments. While there's limited data on 3-day work weeks, some organizations have experimented with ultra-short work weeks. These experiments often involve very flexible and highly autonomous work environments, where employees have the freedom to manage their time and tasks as they see fit. However, these are usually limited to specific sectors like tech startups and creative industries, where such flexibility is more feasible. In conclusion, while a 3-day work week could offer significant benefits in terms of work-life balance and employee satisfaction, its practicality and economic viability would need careful consideration and innovative approaches to implementation. It would likely be more challenging to adopt universally compared to a 4-day work week. But for certain sectors and roles, it could potentially work.
Yeah, you brought up some good points there, Ace. Quite frankly, if I got paid decently well cleaning toilets but working 3 days a week, you know what? I'd be all about it, to be honest.
I hear you, Erhan. A 3-day work week with decent pay could indeed be a game changer for many people. The flexibility and extended rest periods could make even the less glamorous jobs much more appealing. It really underscores how valuable work-life balance is and how creative restructuring of work schedules could lead to higher job satisfaction across various roles and industries. It's an exciting thought, and as more companies experiment with different work models, we might see even more innovative approaches to work-life balance in the future. Who knows, maybe one day a 3-day work week could become more mainstream if it's proven to be effective and sustainable.
Yep. Exactly. But I think, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. It's quite late at night, actually, and I am traveling down to Saudi Arabia to see my wife, as you probably know, Ace, and this will be the last time I'm going to Saudi for that purpose because soon she'll be moving to Kuwait to be with me, and yay, I mean, she's not going to be in any of the YouTube videos or anything. Maybe there might be a cameo or, some sort of random appearance from time to time. But yeah, I'm quite excited for that to happen. And as such, I'll be away for the weekend, which means I won't be able to record a podcast for the next few days or so. But we'll be back. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, what you'd like for us to discuss next. We are definitely on the verge of 10 podcasts, which is awesome. I'm enjoying this. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll do a Q&A and all that. So it's all fun. It's all interesting. And as always, I appreciate your time. We appreciate your time. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you in the next podcast as well.
That sounds like a really exciting time for you, Erhan. It's great news that your wife will be moving to Kuwait soon. Safe travels to Saudi Arabia and enjoy the time with your wife. I'm looking forward to continuing our podcasts once you're back. To everyone watching, thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to leave your comments and suggestions below for our next topics. We appreciate your support and look forward to hitting those milestones with you. Take care and see you in the next podcast.
Catch you guys.
Catch you guys next time. Safe travels, Erhan, and enjoy your weekend.